Welcome to The Author's Journey with #1 international best-selling author and in-demand publisher, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. Today, we'll showcase the works of an amazing best-selling author, find out the story behind their book, and explore ways to bring your message powerfully forward. Now, here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. So honored to have you here joining us on the Author's Journey, where we talk with amazing best-selling authors that are willing to pull back the curtain and really share some of what the journey was like, what they discovered, what surprised them, what they loved about bringing their book forward. And as it continues to ripple out in the world, we're getting to have a candid conversation with them on the journey. So listeners, I'm excited to have you joining us today. Our author is focused on, and the title of her book is Journey to Self-Awareness and Hope. How beautiful is that? I think we all can use support on the journey. The more self-aware we can become and the more hopeful, the better. So I'm very excited about her subject matter today and what we're going to learn and discover. And in order for all of us to get the most out of our time together today, I encourage you to take a deep breath. All the way to the toes. And breathe out. And just with that breath, and you can take another, it feels so good. It's an opportunity to slow down a little bit, to become really present, to be open and ready to receive everything that is here for you. And in fact, I encourage you to get a piece of paper, a notepad, a writing utensil. Be armed and ready to write down those things that spark something within you. Perhaps you want to connect further with the author. We're going to let you know how. Maybe you want to lean in and get a copy of their book. We'll share how to do that as well. Or they share something that sparks something within you, inspires you, encourages you, reminds you. Perhaps it's that thing you have been waiting for that will click into place to help you move forward in a powerful way. So have that paper and pen ready, leaning in with anticipation to our conversation today. It is my privilege and honor to introduce our guest, Janet Schmidt. She is an international best-selling author of Journey to Self-Awareness and Hope. Janet shares her personal story about her son, Daniel, who struggled in school. He was labeled as having reading, writing, and math calculation disabilities. This made school and his relationships with peers very difficult. This led Janet and her husband, Lyle, to create a special chart to assist their sons in his personal and social growth. Her book is about this chart, and where the ultimate goal is to learn to love yourself and others. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and heart-centered Janet Schmidt to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca. How are you today?
I am wonderful and thrilled to have you joining us. I know it's a busy season. We are doing the recording of the show towards the end of the year in the holiday season, and I'm just so excited you could join us today.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
You are very, very welcome. And we always love having you on our shows and sharing with our listeners. And for those who you're new to, I'd love for you to share a little bit about why this work of really helping people become more self-aware and have hope. Why is that personally so important to you?
Well, we're in such a social media-driven world right now. There seems to be a strong desire just to dump the negativity right into the world. And it seems to me that people do not have a clear concept or self-awareness or even acceptance of who they are as a person. So in order for those wonderful gifts that we all have to be given and allow people to reach out and give them, I think that they need to be more self-aware of themselves, know what their gifts are, and also how to interact with other people. in a positive and helpful way.
I love that. Isn't that just taking a moment to take that in and remembering that we all have gifts and to be mindful of what they are and how we're interacting. And the more self-aware we can become, the more we'll realize how we're interacting with others and hopefully be able to more fully embrace our gifts and our talents to be able to mindfully and purposely bring them to the world. I love that. And being aware that that negativity is out there. And so the more we can bring our gifts forward and choose a positive approach, a helpful approach, as you mentioned, I think we can help combat, in a sense, diffuse that negativity and really bring forward those things that matter most in a helpful way. I love that. Anything you would add?
Well, and also, the book is also, I wrote it because the more love in the world, the better, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And in this book, it shows you what kind of traits or skills you need in order to build yourself up to self-love and being able to love others.
Wonderful. I love that, how important it is to remember to love ourselves, and then we are able to love others. You have so many beautiful things in this book, and one of the things I really like are you have this special chart or map, this map. Do you mind sharing, actually a chart and a map, but to be more accurate? So I'd love for you to share a little bit about the chart and a little bit about this special life map.
Sure. The character building blocks to self-love and loving others chart that she's talking about has steps that you can achieve up to self-love and loving others. One half of the chart is the individual character development, and that's made up of self-reliance, self-control, self-respect, and independence. On the other side, we have social character development, how we interact with others. So we have courtesy, kindness, respect for others, and patience. In the middle, holding this all together, is trust. Whether it's trust in ourselves, trust in others. And so when we reach the top, we have our self-love.
Perfect. And then what is this life map I was talking about as well? I'd love for you to share a little bit about that too.
Well, the life map is the fun part of the book, in my opinion. You get to think about your life, and and I think it's important to go ahead and do a life map of your past. Mm-hmm. And on the last life map, you should include things like achievements, like say you moved often, maybe your dad was a military man, so you didn't really stay in one place for terribly long. You should put in there any type of event that made a impact on you as a person. For example, in my life, my little sister. I had a sister. I really didn't know her, but she died when she was about 4 months old. So growing up with that absence, knowing that she was born and lived for a little while, I don't know, that's always in the back of my mind. So when I when I talk to other women and stuff, sometimes it's nice to meet someone who has a similar experience. Mm-hmm. So you put all those things about your past and any significant events that happened to you, and then you go ahead and you can do where things are presently, And things like that would be, maybe you have some goals you're working on. Maybe you have some obstacles or problems that you need to work through. It is fun to put those on the map in a way of, I'm at a sand trap, so that means you're kind of stuck, or whatever. Some people think of a kind of a, what do you call that, a little guide to what the symbols mean on their maps, so that they don't. And also it's easy for, if you want to share it with someone else, you can do so.
Mm.
Then for the future, which is always kind of fun because, when you're dreaming, anything goes. So you can either do kind of a dream map where here are my dreams and this is what I would like my life to end up to be like in 5 or 10 years. Or you can just, again, do some long-term goal setting. It just depends on how you approach that, how you want to approach that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just kind of a interesting way to look at things. The other thing is, for example, if you only want to deal with one part that's very important to you, like relationships, so the most important is probably one of your relationships is a partner.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to do a life map about the ideal partner, remembering that that individual cannot provide you 100% happiness.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to figure out some of that on your own. But you can put on there the different type of traits or things you want in your partner. And that way, when you go out to date and stuff, you kind of know what you're looking for.
I love it. I love how the life map is a way for people to visualize, to get out of them and kind of look at it, interact past significant things that have happened, kind of look at what they've overcome, because we forget that sometimes when we're faced in, like you said, a sand trap, when we're stuck somewhere, that remembering what we've overcome and taking a look at where we are now and where we're wanting to go, and whether that's kind of an overall view of our life or looking at a certain aspect, like relationships, like you mentioned. I think it's such a powerful tool to be able to interact, look at things, and like you said, kind of know what you're looking for as you are navigating forward. That is so powerful. And your book is full of different tips and tools to really guide us on our journey. And that brings us to the cover. I feel like the cover is perfect for exactly what's in the book. So I'd love for you to describe your cover.
Well, my cover has a signpost on it. It has Journey to Self-Awareness. And really, I like to think of our life as kind of a journey because, well, it is, because there's so many things that we experience as a human being. And everybody's journey is different. No two are alike because we all make different choices. And so I think I like the cover, too, because with the signpost, that means you're not restricted to just one way to go. You have more than one way to go. And so I think it's very important in our life to have choices so that we can kind of make our life the way we would like it to be.
I love it. And can you give us the full title of your book for anyone who is wanting to look it up or get a copy? I'd love for them to have the full title.
Sure. It's Journey to Self-Awareness and Hope. Discover how to accept, celebrate, and love yourself.
I love it. And it's available on Amazon and where most books are sold, on online stores as well. So you can kind of choose your favorite way to find the book and add it to your library. And I know it's in multiple formats, from Kindle to softcover and hardcover. And you have a companion journal that you've created as well. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Yes, that journal is one that is to reinforce what's in the book, of course, but it also allows you to either draw or diagram things. For example, when you get to the life map, maybe you want to do kind of a tentative life map of your own, see how it feels to draw one. So on one part, let's see, on each page there's a lined area to write if you enjoy journaling, and on the other side is the blank page to draw or diagram. So it's then, you know, some people use their journals for some notes, important notes to themselves, so they remember content that has some meaning to them. I've also included some writing prompts in there so that if you're the type of person who likes to react to something, to an idea or concept, that there are some in there for you. So I've tried to accommodate people in their different styles and how they use their journal.
I love it. And I love the two working together to really support the reader on their journey. Well, thank you so much for sharing. We are going to our first commercial break. And as we do so, listeners, I encourage you to just take some moments. Take these 2 moments for you to really see what's bubbling up in your heart and spirit. Perhaps think about a life map. And what is it you'd like to take a closer look at and map out? We'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Want to see what Voice America is up to behind the scenes? Follow us on TikTok at Voice America Talk Radio.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
The Internet's #1 talk station. #1 talk station. VoiceAmerica.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and maybe had some good ideas of something you want to map out. This is a great time of year to be looking at those things as you're navigating the holidays and looking into the new year. How do you want your life map to look? Where do you want it to go? What areas do you want to focus in on? It's really great to have some guidance and direction and know what you're looking for as you navigate forward. So I'm very excited about some of the tips that Janet has shared, and I very much encourage you to get a copy of this powerful book to help you navigate your journey in a powerful and positive way. And to support you on your journey, I also wanted to offer up a couple of gifts to help you along the journey. So one, it's called the Emerging Author Series. You can find it at emergingauthorsseries.com. authorseries.com. It's a collection of 9 different ebooks that we've created, each covering different areas of the writing journey, from myths and truths to I have an idea, now what? Or I've written my book, now what? What's the difference between publishing and launching? How does this really work? Frequently asked questions, all those types of things. So I encourage you to lean in, check out those resources at emergingauthorseries.com. And then secondly, for those of you who have added to your list, and in 2024, you want to speak on more stages. You want to reach more people, that you're committed to doing that. Then I encourage you to check out the Speaker Talent Search. Again, you can find that at speakertalentsearch.com. We hold it several times a year, and this is part of our give back, helping speakers get on more stages and shows like ours. So I encourage you to lean in. I hope those 2 tools help support you on your journey. And as we're coming back to connect in with Janet, she's actually prepared a reading for those of you who would like a little bit of a sample of her book, and then she's going to share some of what the journey was really like to bring her book forward. So Janet, with that, I'd love for you to share your reading with us.
Thank you. The reading I have today is under the subtitle in the book, The Power of Words. Another important consideration is how your words will affect other people. I remember a story I was told once by a local comedian in my hometown. As a young girl, she would go to the bakery to buy fresh items for her mother. She became good friends with one of the ladies behind the counter. They would talk about all kinds of things. One day, the young girl noticed a policeman, a heavy-set man, who came in regularly and talked to her friend behind the counter. The next day, when the young girl came in, she made a joke to her friend, but she couldn't see how the policeman could run very fast, as large as he was. Her friend said, "Well, he may not have always been that heavy." For many weeks, the young girl would make fun of the police in front of her friend behind the counter. One day, the friend told her, "He's my husband, and I just like to think there is more of him to love." The young girl was stunned. Then she felt ashamed and never went back to the bakery when her friend was serving behind the counter. She couldn't face her after all the terrible things she had said about her husband. This story is a small example of bad decisions made on the young girl's part that ended up hurting a dear friend and ending a precious relationship. This is why it is important to think about how your decision will affect others. That's the end of the reading.
Thank you for sharing. And the power of words and what we say and what we continue to say as we look at others and reflect things. And we could look to reflect positive things versus things that we feel like are different or something that we choose to make fun of. So I appreciate you sharing that and the reminder of how important our words are and how we look at things and what we choose to say, how we choose to show up.
Exactly. I'm sure she thought she was just being funny and sharing something funny, but in the end, she ended up hurting somebody. And that's sometimes what happens with words. Either we don't understand the meaning completely, or we don't understand the context in which we're using them, and we end up hurting somebody else.
Yeah.
There are also people out there who are very intentional with their wording, and they use it like a weapon. So, we've seen some of that too.
Yeah. And I think, but we can be just as intentional using it for good and to uplift.
That's right.
Yep. Exactly.
That was my point.
I love it. Yes, exactly. So really thinking before we speak and choosing those words with care and to really be in alignment with what matters to us most. And I know that it's a big journey to bring a book forward, to go from idea to reality, and then to launch it into the world in such a way that it becomes a bestseller or above. And yours became international bestseller. It reached 3 countries, 22 best-selling categories within those countries within a very short period of time, right when it was released. And it's continued to ripple and spread out into the world. And I'm curious, as you reflect back on the journey, was there something that surprised you on that journey, or something that you faced and had to overcome to bring your book forward and to really share it with the world?
Well, one of the things is how to bring the book together in a format that would make sense, because you have all this research and information, and you need to put it in a format that other people can read and understand fairly well, fairly easily. And since I was dealing with a personal story, my son struggling in school with his learning disability, I wanted it in a way that it would help other people who read it, and to give them hope that, you know, struggling is part of life experience, and it's a normal thing. But there are things you can do, and there's always hope. Mm-hmm. So, well, and then I had insights and all kinds of things. And so, yeah, how do you put that together? So kind of what I did is I did an outline of all the things that I wanted to touch in my book. Mm-hmm. And then under that outline, I put the things that I wanted included in that area. For example, courtesy and manners. In that chapter, we talk about polite speech and how we talk to ourselves, mm-hmm. and how we talk to others through gossip or and there's some tips in here, food for thought, about before you repeat something you've heard, be sure the information is accurate and if it's appropriate for where you are.
So I'm hearing that you really stopped and looked at all of the information and organized it, but you chose to organize it in a way that you felt would serve the reader, so that so you had them very much in mind as you were organizing it very strategically. And I think that's really good advice, especially for any of our creative writers out there. When we're writing and creating, it doesn't always come in a linear format or in an organized format. So I think getting all the information on and organizing it can be a really powerful way to bring the book forward. Was there anything else that you navigated through that you could give a tip or a piece of advice to our listeners around?
Well, I'll be honest. This book took me a long time to bring it out to the world. So there is a time for everything, mm-hmm. and when it's the right time to bring your book forward, you will know inside of yourself. The only way I can put it is a kind of a, for me, mm-hmm. I don't know how it happens to other people, but it's kind of a gut feeling. Mm. And I'm also a spiritual person, and I felt like God was pushing me along to get this done. It was important to get it out there. So I guess that's it. It has always been a dream of mine to write a book that would be helpful to others out there. And I have reached that dream, and I cannot tell you how that feels. Mm. And it gives you a lot of self-confidence. Mm-hmm. And it helps you realize that when you're thriving, when you reach your dreams, when you're working on dreams, you're prospering, you're learning, you're growing, you're flourishing, and you're not giving up on yourself or your life.
Yes.
You have a purpose.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. And I love that this is one of your dreams that you've been able to bring forward and bring into reality and have it touch people in such a positive, powerful way. So that makes me happy. I love that. And I'd love for people to have a way to connect with you further, as well as if they want to get a copy, if you could give the whole title again, that would be great. We know that it's on Amazon and other online platforms. So the full title of the book and the best way for people to connect and go deeper.
Journey to Self-Awareness and Hope. Discover how to accept, celebrate, and love yourself. You can get in contact with me by email at JASCHMID as in dog T 1258 at gmail.com. And I also have a Facebook page at facebook.com/Janet, JANET SCHMIDT 581525 /. So there's no spaces in any of that.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Janet, so much. Oh, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's all right. I was going to say on Facebook, of course, you can reach me through their mail on there.
Perfect. So the little messenger is a great way for them to Facebook Messenger to reach you as well. So that's great. And did you have any final tip for any reader out there, writer out there, either around their own journey or as a writer or as a reader? I'd love for you to share.
Sure. Believe in yourself. It's very important. You have something important to say, and only you can say it in your own way. And I also would say take your time. Don't get in a hurry. Take your time. Make sure that it's organized the way you would like, that it makes sense and that it flows. And have other people read it, people that you trust. Ask them to give you feedback, honest feedback, and that will help you as well.
Wonderful. Great tips. I appreciate it. Congratulations again on the success of your book and the dream coming true. That just makes my heart happy. And for all of our listeners out there, I want to encourage you on your journey to remember to keep writing, to keep reading, and to be willing to believe in yourself to bring your dreams forward. Have an amazing week. And we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to The Author's Journey. Please join Rebecca Hall Gruyter for another edition of the Author's Journey podcast every Monday on the Voice America Variety Channel. And until we talk again, use some of the tips and inspiration from today's show to guide you as you lean in to bringing your message forward.